Hey guys, so welcome to lesson number 3 of our video online lesson thingy. I'm joined by several students who I will introduce to you in just a moment. Before we get to today's lesson, this will be the final time I go through all of these announcements, but I just want to drive home the point that you can find everything that you need in Canvas, okay? This lesson is brought to you by getting enough sleep. Very, very important. Please get enough sleep. So please check out the fourth quarter links. They can be found in modules. I have a whole module just for fourth quarter links. Lots of important stuff for you to look at. There's some videos for you to watch, things like that. I will be updating it as the semester goes on. Also, everything is available on the Canvas homepage that you need to be successful this quarter. Assignments will still be happening. I will be doing math excels. I will be doing Canvas classwork. These are all available through Canvas, just like always. And there's also an assignment calendar that you can click in. That's on the Canvas homepage and in fourth quarter links. The calendar currently is built out through the next 3 weeks. So if you want to see when things are due, maybe even get ahead a little bit, you can go see what to do next and all that kind of stuff. And finally, my office hours. I have office hours every day at 1 o'clock. You can, there's information for how to get into office hours on the Canvas homepage. Just follow the steps. You can get yourself in. You can ask any questions if you need help, or you can just call and talk because you love me. All right, so without further ado, I will introduce today's guests on my show here. So let's start with Hannah. Say hello, Hannah.
Hi, my name is Hannah.
And we also have Ella. What's up, Ella?
Hi, my name is Ella.
Okay,
I'm in period 4.
Period 4, all right. Also from period 4, we have Avery. Hey, Avery.
My computer's really hot. It's burning my stomach.
Sorry to hear that. And joining us from 7th period today, we have Juan. Say hey, Juan.
Mr. Leacock's favorite student here.
Yep.
And also from 7th period, we have Andrew. Hey, Andrew.
Hi, everyone. How's it going? It's Andrew. How's it going? I'm Mr. Leacock's favorite student.
All right. Now, we're not going to get into a whole debate about who's my favorite because we all know
okay.
none of you.
His mom said me.
So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. Today, we are starting with scatter plots. Scatter plots are really cool and awesome and very easy. Most of you guys probably already know about this stuff anyways, okay? So you have your guided notes up, ready to go. Scatter plots are always measuring the relationship between 2 different variables, which we call bivariate data. 2 different variables is called bivariate data. And what a scatter plot will show is their relationship, if there is one, in the data, okay? So if you're looking at this first example right here, the one that's all the way to the left, I would call this a positive association. So just take a stab here. One, why would I call this a positive association?
Because it's going up. The dots are going up. They're increasing. Just as if there was a line.
Just as if there was a line, right? And we can actually sort of like sketch or draw like a general idea of what that line would be. I'll get to what that's called in a little bit. But yes, as x goes up, y also goes up, okay? So if we're thinking about some real examples of like as x goes up, y goes up, that's called positive association. They're matched. So I could say something like, as I eat more food, I also gain more weight. That has a positive association. So what do you guys think? What are some other possible positive associations that we could have?
The more dogs you have, the smarter you are.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Wait, no, the more dogs you have, the more food you have to buy.
Ooh, that's another good one.
Ooh.
No, that's not good.
The more dogs you have, the more less smart you are.
The more less. No, that would be an example of the opposite association, and we're not doing that. We're doing positive associations.
Okay, the more dogs you have, the happier you are.
There we go. The happier
More
you
cats-
are.
Only Ella.
All right, moving on. So we have positive association. Oh, actually, positive association works the other way too, right? We can say the less of one thing, the less of the other thing also, okay? It's like a total match there. So can you think of a less-less relationship?
The less dogs, the less sad.
Man, you guys are all about the dogs right now, and I love it. Okay, I have a dog too. Yeah, so those are examples of positive associations, right?
The less
less-
cats, the more sadder.
Okay, let's get off dogs, guys, with the dogs.
I said cats.
The less you study,
The less.
The
you-
more bad grades I get.
again, that's going to be a less.
That's
Right?
yeah.
So the less you study
less-
on,
The less.
The
average.
less my average goes up. No, mine goes down. Yeah.
Sure, there we go. It's like a down. There you go.
Yeah.
You got it. Just takes a little bit of practice, right? All right. So if we're looking at the second association, Andrew, take a stab at this one. If the first one was positive, what's this one going to be?
Negative.
Yeah. And what makes it a negative association, Andrew?
The dots are going down on the y-axis.
Yeah, there we go. So we got this like trend, but it's going down this time, just like a negative slope. Okay. So negative associations are complete opposites, right? The more X that I have, the less Y that I have. Okay. So can anybody think of like an opposite type of relationship or association?
The
more
less I
cats
study.
you have, the more cats you get, the less happy you are.
Dude, with the dogs and the cats, man. Okay, we're done with
Cats are
dogs and
great.
cats. Come on now, dogs and cats. Let's move on from the dogs
More-
and cats.
I have
Avery,
an
go ahead.
idea.
No, it's about dogs and cats.
No, we're done with dogs and cats. Andrew, go for it.
Okay.
The more missed shots you have in a basketball game, the less points you have.
There you go. That's a more or less relationship. That's an example of negative. Avery, the less you sleep.
Oh, the more your parents
Or
get
your
annoyed
mom
at you.
tells you that you're grumpy.
There
Yeah,
we
yeah.
go. All right. And then finally, the last association that we have on our little scatter plot here. Ella, tell me what you notice about the dots here.
They're all over the place.
Right. So if we've got no apparent like trend to our dots, then we would say that there is no association. Okay. There's nothing that's linking X and Y together. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
No.
Okay. So I mentioned that we can sort of like trace a line. If I see a trend here, I can sort of trace a line that kind of follows where the dots are going. This line, we call it a regression line, or sometimes it's called a line of regression. And it's sort of the line that helps us like fit the relationship between X and Y together, okay? So in a line of regression, we're about halfway down our notes now. This line is modeled by a linear equation, okay? And the cool thing about the line of regression is it can be used to make predictions about data that we don't have yet. Okay? So we can make
Awesome.
predictions. Yeah, go ahead, Avery.
Oh, I didn't mean to say anything.
Okay, great. All right, so let's just look at this example here. We've got animal body weight to brain weight. Okay? And there's Ella's dogs barking up a storm. There we are.
Lucy!
We know that that's why she
Who's
loves
the
dogs so
dog
much.
that causing the lag?
Right, so
Lucy!
Causing
Rob.
the lag.
all right,
The
so
only person I see lagging is you.
all right, so if I were to look at the brain weight versus the body weight, and I have this sort of line of regression here, And I can use that to predict a piece of data that I don't have yet, okay? So what I mean by that is, like, let's say I have an animal whose body weight is about 300.
Versus a dog. Just kidding.
If it were a dog. Oh my gosh, with the dogs. Okay, so if I have an animal that has a body weight of 300, about how much would their brain weight be according to this scatter plot here?
It should be
between 400 to 600.
Why do you say
10,
between
520.
400? Yeah, why do you say that?
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, because well, the end line, like at the end of the line,
Mm-hmm.
it's between 500 and 600, and it's more towards 500, and seeing that's more towards 500, I would say like 510, 520.
All right, so what you're doing is, like, you're matching up here. This was the body weight I gave, about 300. I'm going to go over and see about where does that fit to my brain weight. And it looks like about 500 or there, something like that. So again, we don't have an animal that weighs 300 pounds, but if we did, based on this data that we have, the line of regression, we could make predictions on that data. That's the idea behind why we have, and what we use statistics for in general, okay? So I'm looking over to the left here. Let's go ahead and fill in some blanks here. So with the exception of some outliers, there appears to be a linear relationship here. And notice how the way I'm editing this, I just am doing it right in my PDF. If you guys are interested in figuring out how to do this, I have a video about it. Okay, so we said that there is a relationship or an association. Juan, tell me, does it look like it's positive or negative?
Positive because it's going up.
Okay.
Am I wrong? No.
All right, we're good there. All right, so the trend shows that in general, as an animal's body weight blank, its brain weight blank.
Increases, right? Because as their weight increases, their brain weight increases.
Okay, so we're saying that both answers are going to be increases?
I second that.
Maybe.
Okay, that's correct, because in positive associations, if one goes up, the other one is also going up. Okay, just like we were saying before. All right, so we would say then that we can make predictions about the weight of an animal's blank given its blank. What would those two blanks be?
Its brain weight given its body weight.
Yeah, you got it. Brain weight. Ooh, man, I really should be typing instead. Given its body weight.
Oh, that's nice.
Brain. Oh, thank you for that. Okay, great. All right, any questions about that? All right, so we're just going to do one example because I feel like scatter plots are pretty straightforward and easy. We're not going to do the whole guided notes here, but if I'm looking at example 1 here, not a trick question at all. Avery, start us off here. If I'm looking at this data here and I see the scatter plot about new submissions to Tampa, what do the X values represent?
They represent the number of years since 2000.
And where did you find that information?
I found it on the bottom of the graph.
Okay, again, not a trick question. It's right there, boom. Okay, notice how I'm annotating the text because I am a good student. That's right. And,
good language arts teacher.
What was that one?
Yeah, you're a good language arts teacher.
Oh, thank you for that. All right, so Hannah, what does the y-axis represent?
The y-axis represents the number of pictures added to the database.
Pics added to the database. All right, got it. And so think about it for a second. What does the value, I'm gonna go with Ella on this one. What does the value 6, 14 represent?
The number of
This is a little tricky.
okay.
Ooh.
Oh.
I have no idea.
All right,
But
Avery, help her out here.
No.
It means that in 6 years from 2000, there were 410 pictures out of the database.
Pictures were added to database, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, Ella, what do you think about that?
I thought it said 6,410.
Oh, no, this is, oh, well, that'd be why. That didn't make any sense to you. No, this is the coordinate 6, 410.
Yeah.
So Avery said 6 years from 2000, 410 pictures were added. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, Juan, what's another way we could say that?
410 pictures were added in 2006.
Ooh, why'd you say in 2006?
Because it says numbers of years since 2000, and then we just add 6.
Okay, so is that 6 years from? Okay, that just makes sense. 2000.
And I was
Okay.
born there, so like, makes
My
sense.
computer just warned me.
All right. So, in general, how would you describe the association between this data? Andrew, what do you think here?
I would say a positive association.
Because why?
Because the line is going up. I mean, even though it may look a bit scattered and may look like it might have no association, but the line overall is going up, so it's a positive association.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is about these lines of regression, they're not going to hit every single point. So I appreciate the way you said it's like there's some that are sort of not really fitting, right? I got this weird one way down here. That's what we call an outlier, right? But most of them are kind of around this line of regression, and it is going up. So we would say this is a positive association, definitely, okay? So given that, one other thing that we tend to do with our lines of regression is turn them into actual equations. So given the line that I sort of sketched, this is not a perfect line, but given that line, which one of those do you think matches?
Let me see.
Well, I think it's weird numbers, so
8x 366. I think it's B. No,
Yeah,
wait.
me too.
yeah,
I was thinking it was B.
Okay, so what, I'm gonna kind of scroll up again. I'm just checking my line here. What about B? Juan, you were the first one that said B, I think?
Oh, no, not yes, but like I
Okay,
don't
so
think.
why were you thinking B?
Because I just did process of elimination. A doesn't work because it's 8 years. Doesn't really work. C doesn't make sense, and it was between B and D, so I gave my estimated guess.
Well, why doesn't C make sense?
Because it's number. Oh wait, no, it's number of it's X comma Y, and that's Y only.
Okay, anybody else have other thoughts about that?
Well, it's a linear
Oh,
equation,
yes,
so it would be
linear.
mx plus b, and 366 is the b,
Said that.
so it can't be there.
So,
yeah,
Yeah, 366 is like this.
it's the the y-intercept. It has to go up 366. That's the starting point.
Okay, so the only like reasonable y-intercept that's somewhere between
Is
3 and
that one.
400 looks like it's B. So 1, you sort of had a good intuition about that. B is the correct answer. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so given what we know with our line of regression, which remember, just gives us a prediction, okay? It gives us generally, like if another 1 got thrown in there, it'd be around that line, okay? So given our line of regression, what year would we expect to have 700? Ooh, man, that's gonna be tough. What year would we expect
Probably
to have 700 pictures? I'm gonna have to extend this line a little bit.
2025.
Okay, because
Because at 15 years, no, at 14 years, there was like a 500.
yeah,
They want us. So if we had another 10 years, which is half of.
okay, that's a
No,
fair
never.
prediction, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, sounds good. Again, this is a prediction, so there's not going to be like a perfect answer on that one. That's
So
the
it's
fun thing about that's a fun thing about statistics also. All right, so this is basics of scatter plots. Okay, we've got a relationship, positive or negative. We've got the line of regression that sort of gives us predictions about new data, and we're going to talk more about that in the coming days. Any questions about any of this stuff?
No.
All right,
No.
great. So the time has come, friends, for me to turn it over and give some shout outs. So we're going to start with Avery, who said he was totally ready for today. So Avery, you got any shout outs that you want to throw in there?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out my 2 table mates, Sahar and Anastasia, for being cool.
Okay, what about me?
Okay, Hannah, how
Okay, you're
about
pretty
you?
cool then.
I mean, I guess I don't have any because y'all are mini paninis.
Wait, what is this? Okay, so Hannah got cut off yesterday, and now she's like all ready to go just to say I don't have any. Come on, Hannah, I'm sure you got at least one
Everybody is
shout
a mini panini.
out. Okay. How about Ella? Got any shout outs for us, Ella?
Hi, Emily. That's it.
All right, how about Andrew? Any shout outs for you, Andrew?
Honestly, like to shout out all of you guys for giving me the warm welcome, and Mr. Leacock for helping me get my audio to work right.
Awesome. And last but
Yeah.
not least, Mr. Juan.
You gotta save the best for last. Save the best for last. Anyways, I want to shout out my dog because like he's the best, and then my table mates, Kristen, Jaden, Danny, and Emily. Period.
Semicolon.
It's a big table.
It is a big table.
That's
All right.
it.
And with that, I will say, please join us next time. We're going to talk about residual plots now that we've talked about scatter plots. Super awesome. And until then, keep working, get all your math Excel done.